Three, two. Hey there, YouTube and world listeners of the Earth Station One podcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We got a good one for you. We have a great one for you, you could even say. We are going to be talking about, of course, everything, everywhere, all at once. That's right. The movie that almost came out of nowhere and took the world by storm. And it's funny how many people are talking about this one and how many Academy Award nominations it has going for it. It's pretty amazing. And, it's interesting when you think about it. This movie almost did alternate realities better than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse and Madness. So it's actually going to be kind of fun to talk all about it tonight. We got a great crew to join us. Of course, my regular co-host, who's always from another dimension, Mr. Mike Gordon, is here.
Howdy.
How are you, buddy?
I mean, I think I'm okay, but as this movie proves, it's like anything could be happening, anything's possible all at once.
All at once, anywhere. It's pretty cool. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do it. And we have a newbie with us tonight. Let's welcome Jason Craig to the show. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. What's good, everybody? Can't wait to talk about everything. Ooh, excuse me. Everything, everywhere, all at once. I can't wait.
It's going to be a ton of fun. This is your first time on Earth Station One. So you want to tell everyone about you, if you don't mind?
Yes, I would. My name is Jason Craig, aka the friendly neighborhood dreadhead. I host the Bring
Love
the
it.
Popcorn. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, if you can't tell. I host the Bring the Popcorn podcast along with my other co-host, and we talk about everything from movies, TV, and just whatever's going on in pop culture or any foolishness that's going on around the world, and a little bit of news just to keep everybody informed, but with the entertaining twist to it.
Oh, of course, of course, of course. Where can people find your show? Is it up on YouTube? Is it audio? Is it video?
We have video, audio. We have Twitch, Bring the Popcorn. Just type in Bring the Popcorn anywhere from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on Podbean now. Trying Podbean now. We're on Spotify. Just
Cool.
type in Bring the Popcorn. That's BRANGDA, then popcorn.
Cool.
So
Nice.
Definitely. And we'll have a link to it, of course, up in our show notes. And so definitely everybody could check you out. Well, welcome aboard. We're very happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be
And of
here.
course, we're also very happy to have our listeners and our viewers. Thank you guys for being here as always. And if you haven't had a chance, please like and subscribe. No matter where you listen to us, it's always a great way to, let us know that you're listening. Let us know if what you think of the show. Feedback is always welcome. And some folks have definitely been leaving feedback up on YouTube. People have been leaving feedback up on Apple and Spotify and a couple other places. And so it's really awesome that you guys are getting the word out about Earth Station One and what we're doing and how we're doing this. And everyone has been really giving us a lot of great feedback now that we're doing 2 episodes a week. It's pretty awesome that we're getting out there and, we're working our fingers to the bone for you folks. This is what we're doing. So it's pretty awesome. And we have a great time when we do it. And we're glad to do it for you guys. So it's pretty cool. And, as always, if you want to write us, feedback at earthstation1.com. And, we're about to do something that a lot of podcasts haven't done before. We are about to go into our 14th season of Earth Station One. So, we've been doing this for quite some time. And it's a ton of fun to be
You can
able
tell
to
by
do
the
this,
gray in
right?
our beards.
Yes, exactly. We actually were nice, dark, young fellows when this started, but now we're old farts. So there you go. But it's always great to be able to talk to you guys every couple days now, and it's pretty cool. So, want to thank everyone for that. Also, if you get a chance, check out our Patreon. That's our lifeblood here right now on the station. The ESO Network has a great Patreon, and we have all kinds of cool stuff. We're about to post a new episode of ESO Board Silly, which is the ESO board talking about all kinds of goofy stuff once a month for you guys, which is exclusive only to our patrons. But you know what? You also get to you guys a new episode of the Earth Station DCU Classics is going up also later this week. So you guys should have plenty of listening material if you get a chance. And you could definitely check us out, as we always like to say. Check us out at patreon.com/ESO Network. Another thing we want to do is say howdy to our friends over at Tifosi Optical. Tifosi Optical is a great sunglass company where you can custom make your own kind of shades. That's right, folks. You can do custom made lens colors. You could do custom made frames. You could do custom made colors of frames. You could even do gamer glasses, blue light blocking glasses, face shields, safety goggles. You name it, Tifosi has it. And you know what? They got a brand new website up there and they want people to come visit. So they're having a sale. Go figure. It's pretty awesome. And as a way of saying thank you, if you put in the code EarthStation1, you can get 10% off your whole order. Just not one pair of sunglasses, not just your whole order, but if it's on sale, you get 10% off the 25% or whatever it's for sale for. That's pretty awesome, folks. It's a great deal. Check it out, TifosiOptics.com. All right, Mr. Mike, you ready to talk about everything, everywhere, all at once?
Absolutely, yes. I've been waiting to talk about this since I saw it, which was it's been a while. So, because it's an incredible movie about a woman just trying to do her taxes. And
Exactly.
so, it's that simple of a story, and yet so incredibly complex in its storytelling. And I just can't wait to talk more about it. But the movie itself has a great story as well. It premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival on March 11th of 2022 and began a limited theatrical release on March 25th. It was a wide release on April 5th. And this movie is one of those movies that just, it didn't wow everybody, or at least it didn't wow the box office number with huge numbers right away, but it gradually kept growing and growing and growing, which is not the case of usually movies. Like they hit one weekend and that's like their big splash, and then they drop by 40 to 60%, keep dropping until finally they're out of the top 10 and then out of theaters. This one did the opposite. It started small and kept growing and growing and growing until finally it now has grossed over 100 million worldwide, which I know compared to like Marvel movies and stuff, that's what they make in an opening weekend. But for an independent movie like this, it's unheard of. I think it's the highest grossing independent movie since the pandemic. And so, Jason, let me start with you. When did you first become aware of this movie, and when did you first see this movie? What was it that drew you to watching this movie?
Well, for me, I heard about this movie through a trailer because I see a lot of independent films because I love independent films, especially from the studio A24.
A24, yeah, solid
They,
stuff, right?
yes, they put out some of the best original content that I've seen in a while. They're basically the new Fox Searchlight now. So I said, oh, Michelle Yeoh, is that Short Round? Oh snap, it's Short Round. I got to see this movie because I'm a huge Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I
Yes.
love that movie. They're re-released. I think they're re-releasing in theaters. I'm going to go see it. I love Michelle Yeoh. Jamie Lee Curtis, I've loved her ever since I saw the original Halloween. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because like I wish I could have saw it when it originally came out, but I'm a '90s baby, so I didn't get that luxury. But yeah, and then like I just have fallen in love with Jamie Lee Curtis. Not going to talk about the recent Halloween movie. But yeah, this movie, that's how I saw it last year,
Did you see
and
it in the theater, or did you see it
oh,
on at home?
I saw it in the theater in the
Oh wow,
loudest format that I could, and I told
nice.
everybody to go see it. I bothered my friends every day of the week until they saw the movie.
Nice, nice. I remember seeing the trailer. I saw the trailer in the theater, in fact. I think in either early 2022 or late 2021, and it popped with me. I didn't recognize Short Round. I didn't recognize Ke Huy Quan. But I did I I did of course, Michelle Yeoh. I mean,
Of
that's
course.
if two words to go see a movie, those are the words you should get. Like Michelle Yeoh is just solid. So, and yeah, Mike, what about you? When did you first become aware of the movie?
I heard about it at, South by Southwest last year. And it was getting a lot of buzz, a lot of buzz. And, I was always a huge fan of, like Crouching Tiger, and, then also, of course, Michelle Yeoh from Star Trek, and about a zillion other projects that she's been at. And it's pretty amazing. And then to see that Short Round is in it, and to think that he's married to Michelle Yeoh, and because Michelle Yeoh is probably close to our age, if not older. And Short Round, I never thought he was, more than 15 or 16, now. So it's pretty funny to think about that. And then Jamie Lee Curtis and, a couple other cast members is just amazing. And it was just a great movie. And we had so much fun seeing it. We saw it at the movies actually over the summer. And then I saw it again when I was traveled in October it was on the airplane, and Judy hadn't seen it yet. So I was like, I'm gonna wait to watch it again with her. And so we watched it like 2 or 3 weeks ago again, and that's what gave me the idea to do the episode.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we didn't have it on. Yeah, I'm glad we are talking about it. So, and it's proper now that with all the nominations it's got, it's already won a few awards, Golden Globes, that is, and the Critics' Choice Awards and everything. So, it's up for the Oscars, and that should be really interesting to see how it does there. But,
You
yeah,
actually got to see a couple cosplay people at Dragon Con for this movie.
did. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, and I sort of regret that. So hopefully at some point I will get a chance to correct that, because I do feel like this is going to be one of those movies, especially around Oscar season, like in the next month or so, they're going to be showing a lot of these movies in the theater again, and so it's a chance to see it because Michelle hasn't seen it yet, and I think she would enjoy it. But obviously, with the trailer, there were two things that hit me, and I didn't even know Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. I had forgotten that by the time I saw it. But Michelle Yeoh and multiverse, and it seemed like this was like a multiverse happening to just an ordinary person. It was a parallel universe kind of thing, a science fiction concept happening to not a superhero, not anybody who is a scientist or anything like that, just a normal person. And that was intriguing to me, but I had no idea how bonkers this movie would be. Jason, what was your, like, when you came out the first time you saw it, what were things that really resonated with you?
Not what really resonated with me was how personal the message was. I wasn't expecting it to hit me in my feels. Also just how much, like, after that first night of seeing it, just how much it had picked up steam at that point, because I saw it like a month after they went through, like, I guess their first run to theaters, because for whatever reason, I guess since I stay in Texas, I couldn't get it when it first hit the run in theaters. And yeah, just how great the cast was. Short Round was a very pleasing surprise, because I was like, oh, he's in it a lot. But yeah, like, my initial feels, I just loved it. I just really loved it. And after that, like, wow, this is how you do the multiverse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we had just last year, as Mike pointed out, we had a Multiverse of Madness movie that came out like about a month or so before this movie, right? So, so all us geeks were, used to the multiverse concept and everything like that. But this probably introduced it to a lot of people who were not superhero fans.
Mhm.
And Mike, what about you? What was something that resonated with you the first time you saw it?
Well, it resonated with me was, yeah, it was about alternate universes, and it was all about, it had the science fiction, but it was all about family too. It was all about family.
Oh, like a
And
Fast and Furious movie?
yes, it was completely Fast and Furious.
It's all about family.
Family. Exactly.
Family.
No, it's about reconnecting with, that she got so wrapped up in her self-pity and, just focusing on the laundromat and everything. She let her daughter slip away. She let her marriage slip away. And she was able to rediscover that and realize what was important to her and what she could have done. And, this is a lot of what if type stories too, all tied into it, which was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of the because obviously if we haven't mentioned before, we are going to spoil this. So if we haven't spoiled it for you already, we're going to get into some stuff, including probably the end. But yeah, there's a lot of like multi-universe after universe after universe. It's a crisis level event for those people who are into DC comics. It's crisis level event. Worlds will end, worlds will die, that kind of thing. Things are happening all over, but at the center of all this madness, there's Michelle Yeoh's character. And Michelle Yeoh just does such an excellent job at grounding the movie. So as crazy as it gets, you're always with her. You're always understanding what she's feeling. You're always understanding, like, you're identifying with her. She's grounding the movie in a way that I don't know if other actresses could handle the weight of that on this kind of movie, but she is able to do it with skill, and you just feel for her the entire time. And like you said, Mike, it's about relationships that you have with your family. It's about going through a midlife crisis, right? Like, what if I had done this when I was younger? Would I be in a better place? Would I not have to deal with all this? Would I, et cetera, et cetera? And confronting that, and being okay and coming to terms with the fact that, you've got some good stuff in your life. You should look at it that way, right?
Oh,
That's kind
definitely.
of the message I got. Jason, what about you? Did you feel that way too?
Yeah, I just yeah, I felt that the movie was just saying, uh, you have to cherish each other. You have to cherish each other, and like you said, you can't worry about like you can't put so much focus on one thing, worry about that, because you'll lose sight on another. You'll lose sight on things that's important. Like, of course, a laundromat's important, but family is more important, because we see throughout the movie how strained that relationship is, and even with all that wackiness and craziness, you still feel for both Michelle Yeoh and her daughter, and her husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
very much
Yeah,
so. Very
absolutely.
much so. Because you feel for them and all the different versions of them. And once you realize that, they made this horrible, monster that was destroying all the universes, you expected, and it was your daughter. It ended up being the daughter, which was real interesting. And that that brought it grounded the movie in a lot of ways, it seemed like. Because it seemed like, instead of it being someone who was a stranger, it was her own daughter who was the destroyer of worlds, as they put it.
Well, I mean, she's a teenager, right?
Yeah,
So
of course. All that explains it completely.
I mean, and then there's, like, the universes themselves, all the things going on, the craziness, of course, the visuals, especially with the hot dog hands, right? The hot dog fingers. Do they have a name for that? Sausage fingers or something like that,
I
right?
think it's sausage fingers. I don't
Sausage
know.
fingers and the mustard
I
and the
mean,
ketchup coming out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, was that the craziest thing in the movie, or what? Did you find anything else like even crazier than that, Jason?
Well, I would say that was the crazy. Like, I'll say it was the weird. Like, well, I guess kind of yes, but I guess a close second, which is honestly one of my favorite parts that had no dialogue whatsoever, was when they were rocks,
Ah,
rocks with the googly eyes.
rocks with
Mhm.
the googly eyes. Yeah.
And
Um, I think there's a moment towards the end where this is a huge emotional beat, and the rocks are like one rock. I think does one rock like jump off or something like that, right?
The
And
daughter rock jumps off.
yeah, and I started to get emotional, and I'm like, I can't believe, like, that's when I knew this movie had me hook, line, and sinker, because I was like, I can't believe I'm getting this emotional over a rock. So that sequence was really crazy. Mike, anything for you visually that was crazy as well?
The first battle scene in the hallway when the police were after her, and then the destroyer of worlds came in, and she literally took out the whole police department that was in there, and seamlessly. It was beautifully done. And then she beat a guy to death with 2 large dildos. It was just so frippin' awesome.
Oh
And
yeah, that was a
it,
funny scene.
it was just beautiful though. The fight scenes and the choreography and the cinematography in these all these different scenes were wonderful. They were, for an independent film, they were done on such a high level. It was awesome.
Yeah, Jason mentioned Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and I think that's where a lot of people, became aware of Michelle Yeoh. But of course, she had a huge history even before that, starting with I don't know if this was her first, but the earliest that I can recollect are her Super Cop movies with Jackie Chan, and this woman could hold her own with any of those martial artists, and it doesn't look like she's lost a step at all. I mean, I assume, I haven't really looked in detail, but I'm assuming she's doing most of her own stunts here.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
she
I'm
is.
sure. And it was interesting because, when you watch a lot of movies that, like, if they were a big studio film of this, you would had all these really whiz bang special effects or props and everything. They were just using props for, even on the Alpha Planet where they were in the van and everything, things you would find around your house, like little goggles and, things that were on the, that you would find in a kitchen or stuff, or, it was just awesome. And then for ways for them to access the alternate universes, instead of these being these glowing objects, you have to find, don't let them stick the, the awards up their asses or whatever, or you have to pick that person's nose, or, and it's just like, really? Really? It was almost becoming more and more obscure, and absurd is a better word for it, which was wonderful. And that's what made this movie fun. And it was fun.
Yeah, and also fun fact, I'm sure if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that I forgot the actor who I referred to as Short Round, but with his time being gone in Hollywood, he was a stunt choreographer. He did a lot of stunts and like he did a lot of his scenes himself. So I don't know if he helped with the choreography of this movie, but I wouldn't be surprised because, like you said, Mike, the choreography in this film is excellent. It is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd put up with any of the great martial arts movies of the 70s or 80s or whatever. I mean, this is right
yeah.
there. They don't skimp on that.
Yeah, his name is Ke Hu Kwan.
Yeah.
Okay, who can?
Yeah.
And Kwan is Kwan, yeah, you're right. I did read where he left. He left the business for a while because there were no parts that he found that were that were worth his time. Like they were all either stereotypical or whatever, and so he just kind of quit the biz for a while. And this is his kind of return, and it's good to see that he's getting a lot of recognition for that, because I'll be quite honest with you. Short Round is not my favorite character at all. So I much prefer him in this than I do in the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Well, remember, Mikey, he was also a Goonie. Never forget a
He was
Goonie.
a Goonie. Goonie. Yes, that's right. He was a Goonie.
And he also was
Um,
Encino Man.
the other thing that makes this movie to me amazing is just thinking about the logistics of making this behind the scenes, because there are sequences that cut into the different universes for only just like 5-10 seconds, and they all like just sort of happen at a blur. That's why I can't wait to see this again. And I imagine if you see it and watch it and look at it, freeze the frames at certain points, you'll be able to see a bunch of other things that you didn't notice. Um, but to me, logistically, they had to know, okay, at least with the rocks, we want to like film like all this stuff because we're going to cut into it later. We're going to film all these sequences in this universe or whatever and cut them all in together. And I mean, that's logistically, when you're talking about making a movie, like that's hard to do when you're coordinating that many shots. I don't know how many, like this should, if this doesn't win an acting award or directing award, it's got to edit an editing award, because this thing is like fast and furious, right?
Oh, the
Right.
editing whoever was the editor in this should, have a gold star, put on his forehead along with his googly eye, because he was just awesome.
Put googly eyes on that Oscar, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And also another aspect of the film that I really did enjoy is if you look at the cinematography for some of those universes, it's vastly different. Like when she is, I want to say she's a movie star or whatever, you can tell like the cinematography in that scene just is vastly different. It's lit different, like just everything. And I was like, oh wow, that's a nice touch, because that way we able to like differentiate the different universes. And I thought that was a really nice touch. So yeah, if they don't win an Oscar for editing or cinematography, I'm riding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be at that front door.
Oh,
And
exactly.
I think there's also a lot of different languages in this too. I think a lot of the different universes and characters are speaking a different sort of Cantonese or Chinese or some sort of Asian dialect, as well as English is in the movie, of course. And there's all sorts of other inflections in this that are like I couldn't track that stuff because I'm not knowledgeable on that stuff, but I did read where I think this has got like 8 or 10 different languages in this movie.
Yeah. Well,
So
we
it
also have to
would make it
give
hard.
we have to give a huge shout out also to James Hong. He was awesome as the father, as
Yes.
like and because he's been in everything, literally. And he is just amazing in this. And him being the master planner, trying to destroy everybody, no, you cannot go to her level, we must destroy you before you do. It's like, Dad, when did you start learning English so well? It's like, it was just so well done. And that's what every person in this movie, the daughter, who the only way I knew her, she's on Mrs. Maisel, so I know her from that movie. And then then she was also in the SpongeBob musical on Broadway. She was the computer voice. So it's awesome, and she did amazing. She was awesome. There's not one role. And Jamie Lee Curtis, come on, Jamie Lee was fantastic. Everyone hates the IRS as it is, so it's like, everyone fully expected them to be the bad guys on this anyway. And you even have sympathy for her at the end of this movie, which is
Yeah,
pretty
because
fantastic.
yeah, I mean there's depth in almost every character that's in here.
Hmm.
That's a start to a great movie when you flesh out and put depth to a lot of your characters. Like I even felt for them in the sausage finger, where like, oh, they just want to be together.
They make such a cute couple.
And of course, the thing that really also struck me is like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this, is the Ratatouille stuff.
No,
Like
no, Mike. It's raccoony, not
Raccoony.
raccoony.
Well, it's based on the Ratatouille,
Oh,
right?
I'm
So
sure the
it's
people at Disney's heads exploded when they saw that.
That
That part was that when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, they have no chill.
Yeah, and then that turns out to be sad too, because you've got that sad moment where you think it's one thing that's going to happen, and then it gets resolved as well. Everything gets resolved in a nice, I don't want to say a nice neat bow because I don't want to make it sound contrite, but everything pans out, and there's so much going on, but everything pays off, I think, which
Right.
is very rare as well, especially when you've got so much happening. Um, Anything else about like, so Jason, where does this rank as sort of the movies that you saw last year or movies that you've seen? I mean, is this like really high up, like the totem pole, like as your favorite movie?
As far as last year goes, it is 1A for me. I put that and the menu at the top. Like
Okay.
those that's my 1A and my 1B. As far as all time, I think it's itching his way into the top five, top three.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I know that I had it as my third favorite movie, but as far as narrative movies, because I put two sort of documentary things on there on the 1 and 2 last year, but this was the first. This was number one as far as narrative movies for me for last year, and I think as I watch it more and more, I think it will definitely reach higher and higher on my all-time list. I definitely there's so much going on that it's definitely worth a rewatch. And Mike, you've seen it what, 3 times now?
3 times. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
it's
mean,
high
you
up
must.
there.
I guess you liked it.
Oh, I did like it. If you remember when we put our top 10 list together at the end of the year, this was number 5, I think, for me.
Wow,
Or it was
that
like
seems low.
4 or 5. No, there were a lot of great movies for me this last year,
It's true. It's true.
and that I liked, and this ranks very high up there for it to be even in the top 5 for me. That's saying a lot. And you know, when I was originally making up my list, it was like I was like, does that go in at number 1, or fitting it where it was? And it knocked what I think it was Death of the Nile out of the top 10 for me for my favorite
Mm.
movies. So, there was just a ton of great stuff out, and this movie ranks higher than any of the Marvel movies I saw, higher than a lot of if you go through my top 10, Wakanda Forever was the only movie that Marvel made last year that got into the top 10, and that was like in the lower part of the top 10. So this says a lot about it. And I was looking forward to Doctor Strange, and that didn't even make the top 10 list for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I do think that, it'll be interesting to see what happens during the Oscars. The Golden Globes are by the foreign press, so they have a little bit more flexibility and leeway when it comes to foreign films. There's a lot of this movie that is subtitled. There's, of course, most of the movie is comprised by Asian Americans. There's, I suppose, the term woke could be applied to this movie as well. So there's a lot of things that are probably going against this movie as far as like traditional things go, as far as being an Oscar contender, seriously.
I don't think
But
so
I
as
think
much
this,
though, just because
get the feel.
of because we had a couple years ago we had that South Korean movie
Parasite.
Yeah,
Parasite
but that
win
got a lot
Best
of heat.
Picture.
That got a lot of heat for them doing that. So, and it's a different type of. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Jason? I'm sorry.
For me, I would say that it's kind of cliche, but any like any type of press is good press, and like even if some people do determine this as woke, which like I don't see how people would classify this as woke. I'll be very like it'd be weird because it's not like they had Jamie Lee Curtis in the marquee, and then they're like, oh, it was a bait switch. Here's all these Asian Americans. It's not that, but I do feel like word of mouth is going to help this movie. It's going to help this movie a lot. Like it's still, it's still it kind of falls into that Oscar category. It's narrative based, and it's lots of dialogue. The Oscars love dialogue. They love dialogue. Even if it's
Agreed.
not good. Even if it's not good, they love dialogue. Um but I don't think it like I think it stands a good chance, but then again, I saw a lot of movies, more than I can think of. So it has competition like in certain categories, but it should win. It should win something. It should win
Yeah, I
something.
I admit, as much as I love Michelle Yeoh, after seeing Tar and Kate Blanchett's performance in that blew me away so much that I was kind of like, man, it's going to be hard to beat Kate Blanchett's part in that. Tar is available on Peacock, I think, or some service now so
It's
Oh yeah,
Peacock.
people
Tar's good.
yeah,
Peacock.
so people can watch it if they haven't checked it out, which I do recommend you check it out because Kate's performance in it is amazing. But I think it's a toss up between those two talents.
Hmm.
And I do think this is getting a lot of like there's a lot of positive swell around the buzz around this movie. I don't, apart from the usual detractors, I don't feel like there's anybody who's really against this movie. So I do feel it's got a good chance, and that's great because that opens up the awards to all kinds of movies featuring all kinds of ethnicities, I would think.
Well, the gates have already been opened, like we said with Parasite. So I don't think it's going to be, oh my God, an Asian based film is one. I don't think it's going to be like that anymore because it's already been there. And I think it's just going to win on its merit, word of mouth and popularity. And damn it, if Top Gun wins Best Picture, I riot.
Then you know that the pendulum is swung the other way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
it's not like you hated, like a lot of people didn't hate Top Gun now, right? So it's not like Top Gun Maverick's a bad movie.
No, but it's not a Best Picture,
Yeah, it's
folks.
like yeah, I'm agree with Mike. I love Top Gun. Like to me, we did a retro review of the old Top Gun.
Okay.
It was, and like I made fun of it because a lot of it is just a lot of it comes off as homoerotic sometimes. So when I'm going to the second one, I'm going to second one like, man, I hope this ain't the same thing. But I like, oh wow, this film matured. But like Mike said, this it better not win Best Picture. Look, a lot of things a lot of things that won Best Picture I do not agree with, and I love Top Gun, but out of all the movies I've seen last year, Top Gun should not be nowhere near Best Picture.
No, Top Gun or Avatar shouldn't even be in those
Yeah,
categories.
and like I said, I like both those movies, but like I said, I would never be like that's the Best Picture. When I think of Best Picture, I think of films like Richard. I think of I think of films that can be like nominated or contend, like Hereditary and all that. But
Oh yeah.
Top Gun, I'm like, nah. I love it. It's
No,
entertaining, but no.
I would have pulled Top Gun and put Wakanda Forever in there
Oh yeah,
because
but you know they
it's
don't
a
like
much better.
superhero movies.
Oh, I know, but
Yeah.
it's a much better picture. It and so the Weird Al movie should have been in there. No, maybe not, but you know,
maybe not. Hey, it
but
got a Golden Globe, right?
it
So
did, it
it's
Did
did.
it?
possible.
Yes.
Yeah, it got best made for TV or something like that, right?
No,
Or something like that.
no, best drama.
Oh,
Best no, it wasn't drama, Rob. It was not. I know it wasn't best drama.
I love that
Um,
movie.
If we only had a
so
way to look it up.
I know, right? Well, I mean, it sounds like this has got and forgive me, but I might have misspoke. I think actually third on my list for best picture was The Fogelmans, but that's because it touched me in a very personal way. But Everything Everywhere All at Once was close right there too. So and I think if I was voting an academy with the academy, I think I'd have to subjectively pick Everything Everywhere All at Once because it just seems like, yeah, there's I'm not saying it's every movie for everybody because I can certainly see like, yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend this to my parents because it's a little bonkers for them. But I think this has got something that everybody can relate to. I think it's very relatable, whether you're our age or younger. And it's crazy enough that it's got enough visuals to keep anybody interested. As long as it doesn't feel like it lags at all.
No, there is no downtime in this movie. That's just like
So
it's like constant.
So I look forward to revisiting this one as well. And look, I mean, I think if we all vote with the Academy, this would be Best Picture, right?
Oh, damn
Yeah.
straight. Damn straight.
So
Oh, just to show that I do admit when I'm wrong, Mr.
oh,
Mike Gordon, it won the Critics' Choice Award, best movie made for television. Weird.
there you go.
Also, Daniel Radcliffe won Best Actor for movie made for TV.
And rightly so, and rightly so. So all right, so look, if we all feel it's Best Picture, I don't think there's anything more to be said. So go see it if you haven't seen it already. Even if we ran across a couple spoilers here in our discussion, trust me, this experience we could not spoil it all. It's just
No, no,
you are
no.
still not prepared. You are still not prepared for everything that's going to happen to you in this movie.
Let me ask you guys though, because a couple people have been floating out there. Should there be a sequel to this, or should they be done with this
Well,
one?
the thing about A24, that one thing I do like, they don't really do many sequels. I think they've probably did one sequel in their whole history of being a studio. I don't think there's gonna be a sequel, and A24 they're good at that. Like this is a singular story, and that's it. You like what you like. We're on to the next one. I wouldn't mind it, but I don't feel like there's a need for it. I feel like the first one was good enough. I can
Mhm.
watch that multiple times over. It's a sequel in itself.
I would watch this over and over again because you see something
I
different every time.
I think the story's told here. Obviously, if the same creators, Kwan and Scheinhardt, if they had ideas for another one, I'm open to see what those would be. But just as well, if Kwan and Scheinhardt and even Michelle Yeoh got together and said, "Let's do something else," I'd be there for that too. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sequel to this, but with those creators involved together, I'm really curious to see what they would come up with next.
Well, they also had some big names as executive producers. You had the Russo brothers involved in this.
Yeah.
And, so that's the folks
Because I think
behind,
the Russos brothers have to be involved with anything involving a multiverse. Is that right?
kind of, sort of. Yeah.
Maybe, maybe.
Kevin
But
Feige's taking offense to that, but that's okay.
that's all
So,
right. We can afford to, piss him off, right? No,
oh,
not at
of
all.
course we can. Of course. But yeah, but it's interesting because, I will never look at googly eyes ever the same way again after watching this. But then again, I was at the bagel shop with Judy over the weekend and I said, "Hey, hon, everything bagels." So she said, "Oh, ha ha ha." And it's like, well, it's going to take us to the next level, so we got to get them.
So good, so good. All right, well, we're done talking about this for a little while. We're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back and close out the show.
Awesome. Okay, YouTube listeners, it's your turn. Now it's a little time to question our guest tonight. Jason, we're putting
Okay.
you in the hot seat.
All right.
So, question for you now.
Okay.
What were your 5 favorite movies of the last year?
Of the last year, 5 favorite movies. I
Mhm.
saw a lot. Um, Everything Everywhere All at Once, of course.
Of course.
The Menu. Um,
I still haven't seen that.
Go watch it. It's amazing. Um,
Mhm.
Devotion with Jonathan Majors.
Awesome
Wakanda
movie.
Forever.
Hmm.
Wakanda Forever. Dang, what? I feel like I'll throw Top Gun in there just because it's the first thing that popped in my mind. Like y'all probably seen the many movies of me, probably more, and like it's just so many that I saw that kind of blended together. So those are my
Well,
5.
all right. That's cool.
Solid.
We're actually gonna do you a little bit of a turn here though. And this is exclusive for our YouTube folks. We're putting you in the geek seat right now.
Okay, okay, I like that. See,
Oh yeah. All right. Mikey, you ready to do this for him?
Let's go.
All right. Mr. Jason, your first question in the geek seat is what geeks you out the most?
geeks me out the most. As of right now, dang, that's hard because it's 2 things that geek me out the most. I don't know what geeks me out more, but I'll
It's your
say,
segment, so you could say whatever you want, my friend.
you know what? If it's anime and video games as of right now, but more so video games now. I guess what I would say now is holding my attention more than anime at the time.
Okay. That's good. What turns your geek off?
Um, bad video game adaptations.
And there's been plenty of those folks.
Oh yes, last
There
year
definitely
Resident
has.
Evil. Last year, if you ever listen to my show, I whenever I get a chance to rag on Resident Evil, the Netflix Resident Evil, I will, because that was an abomination, and I don't ever want those people to ever touch Resident Evil again. I just want Resident Evil just to die. Just leave that zombie in the ground.
Wow. Okay. What was your favorite geek out moment?
Favorite game, just last year or like about
Your whole
ever.
life, ever.
Best geek out moment, I would have to say me being a Spider-Man fan. When I went to go see No Way Home, just seeing all 3 Spider-Man on the screen at once and have my crowd me go crazy. I'm going crazy. Just that whole experience, it was just really fun. And it was like that both nights I went because I did see it twice.
Of course, as one does. It's interesting too because, I wish they wouldn't have spoiled that surprise. That would have
Oh
been
yeah.
Yeah.
just awesome and
Oh yeah.
everything.
See, See, I just banged my head up against the wall before I went to the theater, so I just forgot everything, and then it
Okay.
was new to me again. So yeah.
Okay. What was your most disappointing geek out moment?
Mm. Well, everything always goes back to Resident Evil. So seeing Lance, so,
I'm seeing some of theme here,
yeah, yeah, that I think that yeah, that's just a huge disappointment for me. But seeing Lance Reddick as Wesker, I'm like, well, maybe he'll look cool as Wesker, and then he looked like a Count Chocula and Blade did the fusion dance. I said, oh,
I
I
love
can't
it.
have nice things, can I?
No, no, you're not allowed to have nice things there. What fictional character would you like to meet the most?
Fictional character I would like to meet the most. Well, I would say as of right now, my man Luffy from One Piece, just
Okay.
because he's awesome and he looks like he's fun. Might put my life in danger, but that's fine. I'll have fun. I'll have fun with him.
Okay. What fictional character would you not like to meet?
Anakin, because he's going to just complain about sand, and I don't want to hear about that sand.
All right, Anakin, enough about the damn sand already. Enough. What is your favorite geek word, phrase, quote, or pose?
Mm. My favorite geek. Well, I guess it would be I'm being nostalgic and just say Kaioken. Like just hearing the words Kaioken just gets me all happy on the inside. So
That's awesome. I love it. What is your ideal geek occupation?
ideal geek occupation. Oh shoot. What we do now. I would say that's ideal. We if I
You
if
like
I
if we made money at it, that's the
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
if we made money out of it, I would be talking all day. I don't know if people want to pay to hear me talk all day, but hey, one can dream.
Oh yeah. I could understand that. I've dreamt that one many times. What geek occupation would you not like to do though?
Video game testing because I heard that is a nightmare.
You have to play that one scene over and over again, see what pixels are off and see if it's broken or if the controller isn't working correctly. And that's the easy part.
And then you got to write a thesis on
Of course, exactly. You have to
it.
write a full report on each scene. And this is what happened here, and this is no, 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 no. That would not be me. All right, Jason, are you ready for your final question in the geek seat?
Yes, I am. Yes, I
All
am.
right. Our YouTube listeners are dying to know, what is your ultimate geek fantasy?
Ultimate geek fantasy.
You didn't
I
think you would be put on the spot tonight, did you?
I did it. I did it. You know what my ultimate geek fantasy is? I would want to be a Sith, not a Jedi, because Jedi are the worst. But I would want to be a Sith, and I would well after the rule of two, after the rule of two, because I want to die. So yeah, so I want to be a Sith.
Okay, got it. And he just wants a red lightsaber, folks. That's what he's trying to say.
Well, that too, and the
Yeah.
lightning, and the Force
Oh,
show.
oh, of course, of course. That would be awesome, though. So that is cool. Well, Jason, you've made it through the Geek Seat. Congratulations.
All right,
Huzzah!
all right.
Mr. Mike Gordon, are we giving away any prizes tonight?
You'll have won a lifetime subscription to the ESO network, a value easily worth $68.04.
All right.
Ooh,
Okay. I
but
need
it's not
that.
real. It's not
It's
real
it. It's
money,
it.
though.
No,
It's
it's in
fake.
Bitcoin.
It's
Oh,
Bitcoin.
okay. I guess I go talk
Yeah.
to. Oh well, at least not
Oh,
crypto.
yeah.
We have some bad
we're
news.
trying to
We
work
just
with that NFTs.
wait. Just got a note right here saying that it did come in crypto this time. Sorry.
Dun, dun,
And it
dun.
just lost all its value right there. Boom.
Oh well, thanks, Tom Brady.
Exactly. That's what the fans in Tampa are saying too. So it's okay. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for being a good sport with that. And all right, let's go back and let's finish up the show for our audio listeners. So that's going to wrap up another episode of the Air Station One podcast. Want to thank everyone for joining us. Jason, you made it through your first episode. We had
Yeah,
some
man.
fun on for the YouTube stuff. This is, folks, this is why you need to listen to the YouTube and watch us up on YouTube. and you can just find Earth Station 1 up on YouTube. It's a ton of fun, folks. We just put Jason in the geek seat, and you missed it. You missed it. Ah! So, Jason, what do you want to shout out about, or what do you want to talk about real quick?
Well, y'all, I want to shout out, of course, my cast, my crew members at the Bring the Popcorn podcast and the Bring the Popcorn podcast. Yeah, we do a show every Sunday now, Mondays, because The Last of Us is on TV now, and I'm a huge Last of Us fan. That's what we're talking about now. Join us on Facebook, in our Facebook group, that Bring the Popcorn, and Twitch Live. That's we do it live every Sunday and Monday. And yes, subscribe, and I'm trying to think of things to do for Patreon. I'll think of things, but yeah, just type in "Bring the Popcorn" on any social media platform that spot the listening devices, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are there, and you'll get to hear me act crazily more stupid than I have on this show.
Wow. Wow, you're lifting us up
Of course,
a couple of notches. That's
we
pretty awesome.
We don't have a high bar here.
No.
So you're...
My bar is really, really low on my show. Like, I can't wait till Cocaine Bear comes out. That's where I'm gonna be at my lowest.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Wow. Okay. And Mr. Mike, we've made it through another one, my friend.
We did, and as always, it's my pleasure.
Anything you want to shout out about, sir?
I do. A few weeks ago, it seems like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a month ago. I don't know. Time is weird. But we reviewed the Ryan Johnson movie Glass Onion, and we all loved it. And I was really very pleasantly surprised that there was more Ryan Johnson mystery on the way. Over the weekend, I watched the first 4 episodes of the new show Poker Face on the Peacock Network, and I'm hooked. It's a fun show. Definitely pays homage to a lot of the NBC mystery movies of the 70s, 80s, but of course it's got that sort of new twist. And Ryan is a director and writer, executive producer on all the episodes I saw, I think. And there's going to be 10 total. I'm not sure when the next episodes are going to drop, but the first 4 were a lot of fun. Natasha Lyonne is the star. She plays a character named Charlie Cale, who can detect people if they're lying, and it's an interesting ability, and she's great. This is the first thing I've really seen her star in.
Really?
And she holds this show together. And the mysteries are smart too and fun, and it's got a great vibe to it. So I'm sold, and that is not a lie. So I definitely recommend checking it out.
That was going to be my shout out also, and she is amazing in it. It's a great show. She plays a character named Charlie, and the ability she has to tell, that somebody's lying, it's not supernatural. It's just a natural thing. She's like a human lie detector, and she is just so frippin' awesome. And it's such a great show. And, if you haven't seen anything that she's been in Orange is the New Black. She was in the American Pie movies. She also did a great series over on Netflix called Russian Doll. And, I've wanted to go back and for us to review on this podcast. So we probably will somewhere in the near future, and I'm sure we're going to do an episode about the series when the first season's over. I could almost guarantee it. It's really
Poker Face?
fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're adding that to the schedule.
I might have to check that out.
Poker Face is awesome. And it's awesome because you get Benjamin Bratt in it also. So it's pretty cool.
And then a lot of other, Ryan Johnson uses his pull. He gets you never know who's going to pop up on the series. So it's pretty fun.
Might have to check that out. I'm gonna use that $1 Peacock subscription that I
have. Exactly, and you'll have do commercials with it. It's no big deal. It's awesome, folks. And I think new episodes are available on Thursdays. So you'll have, starting this next Thursday, you'll have the 5th episode, I think. So definitely check it out. And so that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much. It's always great to talk to everybody. And Jason, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you for the first time. We definitely would love to invite you back some other time.
Thank you, guys. I would hope to have you guys on my show as well.
Oh, cool. Most definitely. If once the restraining order's over, we'll be glad to be joining you. So it's perfect.
Okay. So I can get that. I feel that.
Is it BYOP? Do we have to bring our
Yeah.
own popcorn?
Of
Well,
course.
I mean, I got some stale popcorn in my pocket. I could give you guys.
I
Okay,
think I'll pass. No,
yeah.
no.
Well,
So,
okay, well, bring your own popcorn.
yeah. Well, we'll pass on that part. But thanks everyone for listening to the Earth Station One podcast. We couldn't do this without you. We want to hear from you guys. Please write us anytime. Feedback at earthstation1.com. Remember, you could also find Earth Station One up on YouTube now. And you know what? We have video format. And so you can see us make fools of ourselves even more. So it's pretty cool. Please subscribe and tell all your friends about us. On behalf of myself, Mike Faber, of course, Mr. Mike Gordon, and Mr. Jason Craig, thank you so much for listening to us tonight. We'll see you here next time on Earth Station One. Peace, and we are done. Boom. Yay. And now let's go into our favorite other dimension.